All right, hey everyone, my name is Zach Sullivan with the Geneseo Chamber of Commerce, and we are here today for a Lunch and Learn event at the Exchange Street Works. The Exchange Street Works is a work share facility where there are a lot of office space and conference room spaces available for rental or for a one-time use or a monthly basis. There's also a child care facility here, and there are sports facilities for the youth. So it's a wonderful facility, and to tell us more about it today, we have Jake Mickley. So everyone, Jake Mickley.
Also, we have Andy Moore and Jackie Mickley as well. But we put together a few slides to kind of show you the idea, the plan, kind of the build process, and then our vision for how we want to see this moving forward. So we can go to the first slide. So if you've been around long enough, you've seen Alexander Building. It was a huge complex. It was sitting vacant for a number of years, and we, several of us in the room kept our eye on that. We thought, how can we improve that space? How can we reuse it? And I think it started, Andy and I had a discussion on co-work spaces and some of that. There's sort of a trend, if you will, where people might want the hybrid approach. I work out of my house, but that's getting a little tiresome. I need a place to escape. We're finding we may have hit that vein, by the way, but that idea is really intended to enhance Geneseo, enhance the county here. As my awareness grows as I look around, maybe part of the economic engine here is I need a nice place to meet, I need a nice space to work, perhaps, and then we want activities as well to come out of the space. And then, of course, we have in partnership with the daycare as well in the building. So multi-use type of thought. I think our objectives are stated here. We want a place for ideas to be shared, so the more the better. We want to support and foster that and build that professional office space. As an alternative, there's a lot of spaces I think you can rent, and there's plenty of office opportunities out there, but we want to extend what's here in Geneseo and basically provide a nice professional work environment. There's a few things there. We mentioned the child care. There are different size offices, so that got into the design. I think maybe we can cover that a little bit as far as how to structure the space. So there's varying sizes, and I think I hit on all those other places. But it could be also a nice place for events. So we kind of give you the timeline. If you watch these things, it felt like slow motion at times. But from the beginning in 19, the space was purchased, and then we're related. We were co-opted, and we saw these other buildings moving pretty rapidly. As we were mentioning on the tour, the baseball space developed very rapidly. A lot of volunteer effort going there. Very impressive from a community standpoint. Just amazed at what happens when you kind of issue a mission and then set the course. And so that's there. It's been up and running. The golf, the Caddy Shack, I'll have to represent Brad. He's out of town at the moment, but great avenue for golfers to come in year-round. Both facilities are really helping the community. So in the center, we have this large space, mass square footage. The design process happened, I think, at the end of, it was still early 19, and the build process took us through 2 years, and then the pandemic hits. And you're thinking, well, how is this going to apply here? And we're very optimistic. Initially, it was no one wants to go to the office. They want to come use spaces like this. Now there's this hybrid approach that you kind of see emerging. I might want a few days in the office and some time here as well. So we think it's well suited for that as well. And then the go live took place with the daycare opening, and everything really taken off this year. Anything you want to add, Andy?
No, I'll just jump into maybe some before and after pictures so we can see the evolution of it. So we started out with pretty much a clean sheet of paper, started with those objectives, and then figured out how do we achieve that with the space that we had available. So there's kind of the general overview. We'll go into the demolition part of it. Some of you that have been in here when it was Alexander, you may be able to recognize some of the space, you may not. The space we're looking at right now is pretty much where we're sitting. So you can tell that the floor's all torn up. You can kind of see these troughs on the ground. That's that empty space there in that photo. But we had the idea and the vision in the modeling there, and then had to make it make it happen in real life. So here's the same kind of area, just a different view of it. Joe with his tractor tearing some stuff up, so appreciated all his help. He was in here quite a bit. This is the south-facing wall, so pretty much behind me, where we put in these big windows and the television. You can see in the rendering as well, but all started out again with a plan, and then we had to make it happen. Childcare, I don't know if any of you guys have been in the childcare, but it's pretty impressive. Renee and Tyler, it's really awesome. But we spoke to them, got them on board, and then did what we could to cater that space to them, but it worked out really well. There was a tornado shelter in there, again, that Joe helped us get rid of, but it was cinder block and then 4 inches of concrete on the ceiling that we didn't think we were gonna be able to remove. So that far corner was all a tornado shelter. So it was consuming a lot of that space, but a little bit of, I guess, physical labor, we were able to get that out of there. Same space, again, another piece of heavy equipment that Joe got in there to tear some stuff down, so worked out really well. Ended up where we have now is we have 5 smaller offices along that back wall and 3 larger offices. We consider this office here in this corner a large office. It's not quite as big as the other 2. But those 5 smaller offices are pretty much the same size as each other. And then the larger ones are big enough that you could have 2 desks in there, or a desk and a conference table of some sort. Right now we have 4 of the 5 smaller offices rented. The conference room spaces are available to people who rent the offices, also people that are members of this open space, but they're also available to the community at large. If you want to rent them for like an hour, there's on our website you can go in and rent and reserve that space for, I think it's $20 an hour or something like that, but those are available to anybody. You don't have to be a member here. With the amenities, maybe Jackie, do you want to talk to these real quick?
We have everything you need when you come. You just have to bring yourself and any decorations that you want to add to the office, and we provide the high-speed Wi-Fi. There's a printer that's available to everybody, even if you're just using the open space. You can, if you rent one of the offices, you can access that 24/7. You're always able to get into the building and get into your office. You have minutes, we schedule minutes for the small and large conference rooms that you're able to use without having to pay if you rent one of the offices. And we have short or long-term leases also available. And one of the things I want to mention is, as you're looking at this wall, we tried to repurpose a lot of the material that was left here. There was lumber just left in the lumber yard, and this is cedar on the wall that we repurposed from shelves, and there's some in the front entryway. The big tall tables with the dark stain are actually wood that we repurposed from Alexander lumber, and so that was really a fun thing to do. And actually, that the French door over there was in use here at one time, and we repurposed it for the conference room. So that has been kind of a fun project as we have moved ahead. So it makes it an interesting space, I think. And the final big piece that we did is the conference room table is actually also repurposed lumber from Alexander lumber. So
I think that's a good point, Jackie, too. Those small offices or large ones even, it's your personal space. So you can see in a couple of them now, they have pictures of their family or whatever. So if you rent those, that's your space. You have a locked door, nobody else is going in there, which makes it kind of neat.
Yeah, we can run through these real quick. With the tour, I think anyone here has gotten a good sense of what these offer. But we're just advertising or promoting our neighbors, if you will. So there's the batting cages; those are open in use by youth baseball. Excuse me. Then the Caddy Shack, of course, that's the brand name behind the golf simulator. There's 3 bays that over there. Real nice facility for use by the youth golfers in town.
So kind of what's next, now we got the space built out. There are going to be some exterior signs for the renters. So again, they can really feel like this is their space. People know that they're in here. Because right now it's kind of hidden. I think people still don't quite know what goes on in here, but those signs will be going up here shortly. Hanford Insurance has been nice enough to donate and help get those going. We'd like to use this is all kind of where this started. Jake and I were golfing and provide a space where we can talk about some up and coming technologies or things that maybe don't get discussed in high school, but there's a big need for it. So to have some kind of lunch and learns in here, or just maybe use other spaces to bring in some equipment to show high schoolers some of the stuff that you need to be able to get by in today's economy. So Jake is going to be hosting some coding, like computer programming workshops, blockchain, which is kind of the underlying technology to cryptocurrency. Jake's into that and knows a lot about that. So we'll likely be hosting some seminars on that. I'm in manufacturing. I do a lot with 3D printing and robotics. IoT is the Internet of Things, so more or less machines talking to machines and all that going to cloud-based servers so you can access stuff all the time and see what they're doing. But I'd like to at some point do seminars on some of that technology, and then potentially have some of that technology in-house so we can show younger kids what that stuff is before they kind of get thrown to the wolves. Participation in community events, we purposely put these big doors here. They're on the west side, so we could open those up, potentially have tables out there, have events very similar to this, where people can get together, share ideas. It can overflow into the parking lot. And then if we fill up all our offices, maybe continue into the back and develop more office space for the entrepreneurs that are using the current ones.
I think this hits on one of the core principles. We want to give back. So, everybody involved in this project has roots here, can point back to those roots that's helped us later on in life. So just kind of on a personal note, we want this space to be welcome to the next generation of kids maybe learning the STEM. Happens to be where Andy and I have spent a lot of time, and I know Mom has seen this as well. As Geneseo is a great community, want another space and an avenue for kids to learn things. Maybe they, it might not be in the precise academic portfolio, but we wanted to spill into this space and offer something unique to kids. So there's specific ideas and actions coming in the near future. We'll share that, and there'll be events hosted in this space. So I think we can open it up to questions at this point.
Yeah, will it be available, like if we want to do a community event at the chamber, or some kind of business networking, or a professional development, like a seminar for them? That's something that the chamber then can utilize here at the Exchange Street Works to use, like this room, for example, for some of those projects.
Perfect example, I think, in my mind. Yeah.
Great.
Like
Art Walk.
It's yours.
Okay. Well, I think of Art Walk because we use the Vic, the old library, and it worked, but we didn't have a ton of space. And there's definitely probably twice as much space in here. And so just thinking ahead to the future, but good to know.
We had a conversation during the tour, and it's sort of the mid-sized space. So you're not running on a huge hotel facility, and it may be an office, or on the chamber side, whatever facilities you have there, or maybe on the small side. Way to get away, I think. So I think that offers a nice outlet. So that example was a good one.
Great.
The space should be useful. So what's your thing? And the meetups, I think there's an idea of just kind of extending an invite to see who comes and that type of thing. In the evenings, we want to support all the things that are going on State Street. We'll point out was a staging area for the parades and stuff like that, so we can hand out ornaments, so
Right.
all those things very much apply, and I think that meets the spirit of the space. Andy, anything you want to add there?
No, absolutely. That would be a great use of it. We've actually already had a couple people rent the large office here. I don't really know exactly what they were discussing, but they could use the space. They had the whiteboard and the television, and so it worked for them.
Good to know.
Yep. Any other questions?
I'll piggyback off of Zach. So if you had an event like Zach just mentioned, and I'm a guy renting an office, how do you manage that situation where maybe we're partying over on this side, I got an office I gotta get to here because it's 24/7 and I just happen to show up during this event?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great question. We're kind of in the midst of learning about that as we come online. Communication, I think, will be key. So, heads up,
Simple
this is
heads up.
coming.
Yeah,
Is it
this is
okay?
coming,
Kind of in a way.
Okay.
That's how we want to try and manage it. But so far, I mean, the private offices, that's, you know, the 9 to 5 type of thing. But yeah, we do want to be aware and make sure that one doesn't collide with the other.
Started out with free food, heads up.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that funny how it changes the reaction? Yeah, just the notion of food makes everyone happier. Yeah.
I guess building off of food. You guys have a kitchenette area or like a break space
Yeah.
area as well? I think I must have missed it.
Yeah, there's it's on the, if you want to hit it on the way out, it's at the far end of the hall. Small fridge, just enough, you know, yeah. There's a sink and microwave, fridge. We want to get those amenities. A
There's two
printer.
apps back there too, I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, so, just to clarify, Andy, you hit something that, struck my nerve, which is a good thing. You said before they get thrown to the wolves, of course, we said they, as in our students, at Geneseo or anywhere in the county, going to school, you learned robotics, CAD, computer design and everything. So, I'm gonna guess you got thrown to the wolves when you graduated from college and you're like, I gotta find a job. So, am I hearing what you're saying is you're gonna try to create a mentorship for students who may be interested in a field that you followed or a field that somebody follows and kind of give them some demonstrations, some little bit of experience on how that works? Is that
Yeah.
something like what you said?
Ideally, it would be access to the technology itself.
Yeah.
You know, be it 3D printers or robotics. A lot of my schooling, it was very theoretical in the physics and engineering and realm, where then all of a sudden you get into manufacturing. That's great, you can do a lot of math, but what's actually making stuff, you have no experience with that stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, more and more the trades are becoming more relevant than the college education, but if this can be some sort of stepping stone for those junior high schoolers to get exposed to that technology earlier on, maybe they still want to pursue engineering, but they messed around with 3D printing something, or they know how a robotic arm works, or they've done some basic machining. To me, it was just, there's just a huge gap there from the
Yeah.
formal education and then what actually happens day to day in the production environment. How you fill that, I think if we have a great resource here to maybe fill that in one way or another.
I like it. You hit the nail right on the head. We do have a gap and we need trades.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, good.
Okay, well, that's it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this Lunch and Learn, and we will see you next time. Congratulations to the Exchange Street Works.